Roger,
Yeah.
I've never made a Negroni before.
Oh, it's equal parts.
In this jug
Do you
of
want me
ice.
to do it?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll do it, yeah.
Apparently, we're meant to have a slice of orange.
A slice of orange, yeah, peel actually, I think. Or is it just, I don't know. Not sure about that bit. Right. Here we go.
So I thought if we make lots of it in that jug,
Oh, right, okay.
and here are our tall glasses.
That's a good idea.
That we can have.
1, 2, 3. Oh, let's do 4. That's plenty. This will get us chatty.
Yeah, really good.
I do love Campari. It's the strangest drink, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. How do you normally drink Campari?
Well, you can just have it. Negroni, actually.
Yeah. But sometimes Campari and soda is very
Yeah,
nice.
Campari and soda is
'Cause
lovely.
It's not too sweet.
Yeah, and with a bit of orange again.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the orange that
And one
does
more,
it.
and that'll be done. There's a bloody lot of Negroni in there. There we are. Okay, so that's
And then here's the stirrer.
yeah,
Do you want more ice?
probably yeah. It should be cold. That'll do. Now that is a proper bloody Negroni, I tell you.
Thank you. Cheers, Roger.
Something.
Oh, wow.
Not bad, eh?
Oh, that is rather nice.
Yeah.
That's rather good. So there's no sort of mix in it. It's all just different alcohols.
Yeah. I think that's why I like it.
Roger, I was just trying to think where we first met.
Ooh,
Do you remember?
blimey, that's a good one.
I remember many years ago, you were with your manager and I was with Peter Brown, the Beatles manager, and they took us out for lunch somewhere terribly smart that made us feel younger than we probably were.
No, we were young then.
We were very young.
Well, we were younger.
And they seemed like, our old uncles that were taking us out for lunch. But I remember that, but you don't remember
Where
that.
were we? It must have been somewhere, was it Morton's or somewhere like that, or the White Elephant or somewhere like
Somewhere like, it was the White Elephant.
that? Was it? Was
Yes.
it the one on the river?
No.
The
It was-
one in-
no. The one near, in Mayfair.
In Mayfair, yeah, I know. I remember it, yeah. That must have been quite a long time ago.
It was a
yeah.
very, very long time ago.
Yeah. Was it John Reed, our manager?
You were with John Reed.
Yes, yeah.
And he said something like, oh, I can't believe I got away with calling a band Queen. And they
Well,
both
it
thought it
wasn't-
was hilarious.
Yes, but it
And
wasn't
you and
his
I went,
idea, was
what
it?
are they talking about?
Yeah. Yes, John, you invented us, but you didn't. No. Yeah.
How did you get the name?
Fred's idea.
Oh, was it?
Well, Freddie and I were running a stall in Kensington Market, which you'd remember.
Yeah, I do. I loved it there.
Yeah, I loved it there too. It was a lot of fun. We were very broke, but and we formed the band. We were trying to pay for our food basically by selling things,
Yes.
and then we had lots of arguments about what we should call it, etc. And Brian and I had different ideas, and just the three of us at the time. But Freddie was absolutely certain it should be called Queen. And we realised all the connotations, and he says, well, it's short and it's got 2 E's. So in the end, he was so sure about it, we sort of went with him. He managed to sweep you along, with all his fabulous enthusiasm.
How wonderful.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect name. In time, it's sort of, nobody
Yeah.
questions it, It's just like,
But
it's powerful in just one word as well.
True, one word's good.
It's
Like,
powerful.
Like cream. Who, I suppose, the Who.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think a name assumes, when people have it in their heads, it sort of assumes its own life, doesn't it? Led Zeppelin, what? And I mean, a lot of people in America thought that, the lead singer was called Led. And,
He did they
oh,
really?
yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I love that Led. No, that wasn't American, was it? West Side Jethro Tull. They thought Ian Anderson was Jethro, and,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh, how funny.
But names are weird, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a good one. Negroni's up. There you go. Cheers. Cheers, Pattie.
This is such a good drink.
Cheers. Here you go.
Do you remember the first time you had a Negroni?
Oh, yeah, I do.
How did you fall in love with it?
Well, I was 21, and it's the first time I'd ever been abroad, believe it or not. And I went to visit my girlfriend and her family. Her father was in the RAF in Malta.
Right.
And I flew out there on a 4-engine Britannia. 50 quid it cost.
Is that a prop plane?
Yeah, prop plane. 4 engines, 4 prop engines. And yeah, and it was their habit to drink Campari Orange or Negronis, I think. And I remember thinking, ooh, I've got a taste for this.
It's quite sophisticated in a way, isn't it?
It is.
And
Yes.
I love the name, Negroni.
Negroni.
It sounds as if it should be a Caribbean island.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. Or an Italian castle or something.
Oh, yes.
The Count of Negroni.
Yeah. And I remember ages ago you told me that when you left school you wanted to be a dentist.
No.
You didn't?
No, I didn't want to be a dentist. Right? I went to dental college in London, the London Hospital Medical College, and it was really, I've got to be honest, it was my sneaky, cunning way of getting to London. And in those days we had a free grant, believe it or not, from a Tory government. No, from a Labour government. Yeah. Which is quite odd, isn't it? But, they paid for students, you didn't have to repay. And so I came to London, went to dental school, not very often, and then eventually started the store with Freddie. And I met Brian May, and we formed a band, which was why I came to London, really.
Where was your first tour with Queen?
With Queen, well, we didn't, at first, it was hard getting gigs, and I guess it was mainly colleges,
Oh, right.
The kind of college. That was a big circuit then, the college circuit. Most universities would have dances, and which then turned into sort of concerts. And that was the best circuit, really.
But I remember Mick Fleetwood telling me that Fleetwood Mac did the same as you.
Yeah.
The college tours.
They were a couple of years ahead, really.
And as soon as there was a break and they went off to the dressing room or whatever, would have a drink, guys would get up and they'd all rush for the drum kit. And Mick would come back, oh God, all he's trying to peel all these people off
Get
his
some
drum
work
kit.
on your drum kit.
Did that happen to you?
No, it didn't actually, no. I think I would have got rather violent if I'd found anybody on doing that. Yeah, I'm sure Mick Fleetwood would have scared anybody off anyway.
Well, he's so tall, and he was so skinny and tall.
Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah. God, they were great. Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac, I loved that incarnation of them, and the early stuff they did was fabulous.
So beautiful, really beautiful.
Song called Man of the World, I love that song.
And I love, there's another song about a bird.
Albatross.
Albatross.
Yeah, that was a big hit, wasn't it?
Yes.
Instrumental hit. You don't get instrumental hits these days, do you?
No, and I think
can't
even
think of
then it was quite rare.
It was really, because the Shadows had done it a lot earlier.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And they'd had a stream of hits. I loved them. And but then it sort of kind of, the Beatles came along, and then it was all about singing and writing great songs,
So, dear Freddie, he was a good friend of yours, wasn't he? Wasn't he magnificent?
You knew Freddie, didn't you?
No, I would love to have met him.
Oh wow, no, he was a gem. No, I don't really. All the years that we were together, we never really had a proper crossword. Had lots of crosswords with Brian. We still do, but in a sort of fond way.
Yeah.
Because we are very fond of one another. But with Freddie, no, never did. We just got on,
Amazing.
He had this infectious enthusiasm. He was just a one-off, Who would have known that all these years later he would have become so iconic, great. It makes us very proud of him.
Do you know what did it for you? How did your band just explode? And everybody was so aware of Freddie suddenly.
I think it looks, from the outside, it looks like an explosion. I think anybody who's, suddenly got quite famous, but they've usually been working at it for years. And,
Oh, absolutely.
it took us 3 years to get a recording contract. So slugging it around with the little tape, and thinking, your future's in this little tape.
Yes. For me, it was when we were in, when Geldof organised Live Aid.
Oh, yeah.
And Eric and I were in America.
Yes.
Right. And Phil Collins, of course, Greedy Boy, did both countries, didn't he? He did, London,
yeah.
And then caught Concord over to America. But,
Yeah.
I mean, when you came on...
He did sound a bit tired when he got to America.
Yeah, he did, of course. But when your band came on, Roger...
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
explosive. For me, that did it. That just, it woke me up to your music and to Freddie and the whole band. I thought it was wonderful.
It's great because the odds were against us, really, because we came on the bill very late. And so nobody bought a ticket to see us, in the audience. But they knew it was a big all-star lineup, and it was daylight, and which we don't like really doing in daylight, but it was fantastic. I remember we were nervous, and we didn't normally get nervous, but we were quite nervous.
Because of the idea that the whole world would be watching?
It was so much to go wrong, it was all so thrown together, and you were literally thrown on stage almost, because of the timing had to be so exact for the telly around the world. And so, there's a lot to go wrong. And when Paul McCartney came on, I remember his mic wasn't on. It was in his monitor, but not in the PA. I remember I was standing right behind the PA, and I think, Christ, Paul doesn't realise he's singing Let It Be, and his mic's not on. They can't hear his mic, all they can hear is the piano. So, anything like that can happen to anybody. It's one thing not being plugged in.
Yeah.
And it was all right for us. And we were pretty much, Fred was on fire. And we were good. We were a very good band at the time. And,
You were explosive. You were just...
Yeah, it kind of worked. Yeah.
Kind of worked. I mean, it really did. I think that's what did it for Queen.
Well,
Live Aid.
It kind of reignited our career. Yeah, definitely. It really did really help, and of course it did it again because they used it as the great device in our movie recently, Bohemian Rhapsody, the movie, which was a big success actually.
Huge success.
Yeah.
And when I went to Japan, I mean, people there were mad about it. They'd seen it 5, 6, 7 times.
Yeah.
Loved it so much.
No, it's fantastic. We were really surprised. We did not know how it was going to do. When you're dealing with Hollywood, it's like swimming in another pool with something other than water in it. It's really very different experience than the music. You just don't know. It's very difficult, dealing with people, and again, so many things to go wrong.
Was it frightening for you that it was out of your control?
It was out of our control pretty much when we got the director involved, yeah. Once they start shooting, it's like handing the gun to somebody else.
Wow.
Somebody told us that, you realise when they start shooting, you've given the gun to them. And it's true.
Wow.
But they did a great job, I thought. They did.
Did you feel insecure about it at any time?
No, not really. I thought this might just disappear and be a damp squib. Or, might do okay, but I didn't dream it would do as well as it did.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. My uncle, who spent most of his life in Africa, with various tribes, etc., 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 when he came to England, Eric was giving a concert in Guildford, oddly enough, and my uncle brought his shooting stick with him to sit on.
I love it. Yeah.
Didn't trust the seating
Oh,
arrangement.
bloody sensible idea, very sensible. Yeah. Yeah. I think when you get to, I'd say my age, I won't say your age, but I think we've got a right to sort of not try too hard. and be comfortable, you know. I want to be comfortable now, you know.
Yeah, and also to recognise the fact that we're not the age we are in our
No,
heads.
no.
We're actually
No, I'm not
older than that.
Not 38.
You're 38, are you?
Yeah, I'm 38.
Oh, funny, I'm 35.
Well,
In my
you
head.
do look younger than me.
No, I don't, but you know, in our heads.
I know.
I go around thinking I'm 35.
I know.
And
Then you have to realise, oh God, no, I'm an old git. I look silly if I do that.
it's funny, isn't it? Because you know in
As
your
long as you
head-
can see the funny side. Yeah.
Yes, of course. I tried skipping along the drive the other day, and I can't even skip. This is ridiculous.
Have you tried climbing over a gate recently? You're getting up's all right. It's getting down on the other side. You just jump normally.
Yes.
Oh, I'm not sure I want to
No,
jump.
but
no.
yes, with one leg over, right over the top. Do you turn around? Which way do you turn around? And will the other leg follow as well?
Yeah, I know.
Or will you have to pick it up?
No, get it. Yeah. Apart from
Let's
that,
go for a long walk, Roger.
yeah,
Gates and fences and hedges to climb.
I don't mind a bit of a walk.
No, I love a walk.
I can't bear running. Walks I can do. I always hated running. I mean, have you ever seen a happy runner? I've never seen one with a bloody smile on his face. Or
Have
her.
you seen a happy cyclist? The
No.
grumpy old men.
No, I've seen a lot of old men though wearing very tight lycra that shouldn't be wearing that.
They obviously think they're 24.
Yeah.
It's interesting, just the difference of what a few years make.
Yeah, I saw the Picasso's gone. There was that dreadful restaurant.
It's gone.
Gone.
It hasn't.
Yeah, gone.
Finally.
Yeah, where Geldof used to hang out every day. No, I mean, you know, it's quite not all bad, but he'd go there every day to have a really bad breakfast.
Absolutely. I remember going there in the
Gone.
60s.
Yeah.
I mean, it should have been a museum to restaurants.
But then there was Granny Takes a Trip, wasn't there?
That was great. Do you remember it one time they had
The
half a car?
Absolutely.
Wasn't it
It was
great?
fantastic, yeah.
Nigel was so clever.
Half an American car sticking out of the front of the shop, and that was the front of the shop. Yeah, ooh, that's quite unusual.
It was great.
And the clothes were the best.
He made me the most beautiful velvet suits and
Yeah,
corduroy suits.
I used to get all my stuff there. Yeah, all the velvets were. They were really beautiful clothes.
Yeah, and beautifully cut. And
In fact, I still got some, which I think my ex and couple of my kids wear.
absolutely.
Very cool clothes they were.
Have you got plans to go anywhere this summer?
Yeah, I'll be on boats.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got. We had a bit of bad luck with my new boat.
Why?
Somebody's masts fell on top of my masts and broke them, so they're going to make new ones. So, yeah.
What a dreadful thing to
Yeah.
happen.
You remember the old boat?
Yes, I
Tiger
love the
Lily?
old boat. I
Yeah.
went on the old boat.
Yeah, we spruced her up and put her back in the water.
How lovely. Very pretty boat.
Yeah, she was a nice old thing. Isn't
Really
she?
beautiful.
Yeah.
Really beautiful.
Been all
Very
over
gentle.
on that boat. I've been hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles on that boat. Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. Yeah, I went through the Panama, you know.
Oh, wow. Were
Yeah.
you on it?
Huh?
Were you on her?
Yeah, fantastic.
No.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah.
Amazing.
That's when you suddenly feel really small next to those Panamax car transporters, you know, and they're up to 1,000 feet long and 82 feet wide.
Really?
I think they're building another canal next door to the Panama. I mean, the Panama is two canals. People don't realise that. It's not one, it's two. And there's a big lake in the middle. And it was built, which is incredible, the year before the First World War.
Oh.
How the fuck did they do that? You know?
How did they do it? But how did they know it was going to be so busy?
Well, I mean, it was cutting out 8,000 miles.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But what they didn't know was that the Pacific is 1.5 meters lower than the Atlantic.
I don't believe it. So do they have a lock?
They've got 13 locks, I think it's 13. Yeah, bloody good job.
How
isn't it?
did that happen?
Well-
How, that's extraordinary.
So if
Can't
they-
get my head around that.
Well, when they first trying to build it, the French, I think, they're trying to go straight through,
Yeah.
and so many people died of yellow fever and I think malaria. They stopped, and there were no locks. And if they'd done that, the Atlantic would have flowed through the canal and wiped out the Galapagos. So, you know, forget it. You think so you're going to get the Atlantic going straight into the Pacific. A metre and a half of the Atlantic, you know, that's
That's
an
a
awful
hell
lot.
of a body of water. That is
No, not a lot of people know that.
extraordinary. That's
I'm full of
amazing.
crap like that.
Roger,
Well, I think I'm pretty certain that's all true. Yeah.
that is extraordinary.
Yeah. I wonder if you've travelled more than me. I think you have.
I couldn't have done, Roger.
I think you have.
How many tours have you been on? Do you know? Rough guess.
No idea.
How many a year?
Oh, well, about 3 a year when we were in the old days, but not anymore. About 2 a year recently. But you travel to places of only really intrinsic interest, whereas I just see the bloody big cities where
That's such a shame.
the audiences are. And we
Yes.
miss out a lot, you know.
You do, unless
So
you
if we
know-
go, well, to Japan, I mean, we have actually toured all over Japan, but it's not like if you went there as a pure tourist and you wanted to go over, you'd go to all the really interesting sites. You know, I've seen a lot of Japan, but it's like coming to England and going to London, and you know, but you miss out. You miss out on the Peak District or the Lake District and the Cornwall or whatever. You know, you'd never see that. You just see the centres of population.
You need to know somebody on the ground, somebody who lives there,
True.
that can not waste
But
time, just take you to all the great places.
You don't always have time. You've got to
No.
move on. You know, you're in Munich, then you're in Berlin, then you're in Hamburg, and then you're in Paris, and then you're in Prague, and then you're in.
I love Prague.
Yeah, I love Prague actually. Prague's cool, isn't it?
That's so
actually,
beautiful.
you only need to go to Prague
Oh, I
because it's
love
got it all. Yeah, yeah.
It's all
yeah,
there.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, so where in South America would you play?
When we do all the capitals, you know, you do Rio, Sao Paulo, Buenos Aires, maybe Caracas, but not right now because it's too dangerous.
Yeah.
Maybe Lima, and maybe the others, Montevideo, I don't know. Santiago, maybe.
They all sound so wonderfully glamorous. You know, just
It's partly glamorous. Rio is glamorous,
yeah.
although it's brutal but glamorous. Yeah, yeah. I love Rio actually. Rio is special. Yeah, yeah.
Did you have any sort of scary moments?
Oh yeah,
on
loads,
tour?
loads and loads.
What's the one that comes to mind?
Oh, Mexico. Mexico was very difficult. It's a mad country, you know. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, last time we were in Mexico, it was a long time ago, and it was probably changed a bit, but it's very violent, it's very corrupt.
Oh, is it right?
It is so corrupt. Yeah, yeah. Yes, we had to bribe everybody from the chief of police down, who said, "Oh, that'll take care of everything," and then we had to bribe everybody under him.
Oh no!
As they all came up one by one by one. In the end, we ran out of money in Penthouse and Playboy magazines to bribe customs officials with, and so we cut the tour in half.
I don't believe it.
Yeah. It wasn't safe. You know, there were ramps collapsing, and of course, you know, they hadn't done it properly, and in big stadiums. It was really scary. Yeah, yeah. I'm told it's changed a lot for the better. You've got to be honest. You have to pay everybody, but you know, to get anything done. And yeah, it's the miracle we got our equipment out. We only got our equipment out by leaving the 11 acres of AstroTurf that we took down there to put on the pitches. You know, so you're trying to protect the pitch.
Right.
So we thought, we'll leave the AstroTurf. It's not worth that much, but we'll get everything else onto the Flying Tiger jumbo jets. You know that yeah.
Gosh.
So while they were stealing the AstroTurf, we were getting all the gear out safely back to Texas.
Wow!
Yeah.
Wow!
It's a shame because it's such a beautiful country in many ways, you know. Yeah. Well, we've had a life, haven't we?
Do you know we have?
Yeah.
And I think we're very lucky.
Of course we are.
I think
We're survivors, Pattie.
Yeah, we will not. And yes, absolutely. Why give in? No way.
Right,
No way.
yeah. Bring it on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. And that's part of how we are, and our generation, I think. We survived
Yeah.
because I saw in my parents that they had no sort of real joy for life. They had no energy, certainly not the energy that I have, that we have.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I suppose because at that time they'd lived through part of the war when they were young, 18, 20, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they were miserable because there was very little around. Little
Yeah,
joy,
the 50s.
little music.
The 50s
little
were
music.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was one, but it was horror. I just remember everything was sort of dull green or grey or beige.
Roger,
Yes, Pattie.
I want to thank you very much for coming here and also for introducing me to the best way to drink a Negroni. And that's with you, Roger.
What a
What
pleasure.
a lovely evening we've been having. And thank you so much.
Oh, it's been lovely, and thank you very much for having me, and thank you for these delicious tidbits of quail's eggs, and apparently olives are very good for you. And yeah, it's been lovely. And if I've offended anybody, I'd just like to say good.
I love it.